your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
It is the Morning Drive on Double T 97.3. Rob Breaux, Chris Snead, Rodrigo, Jeff McGuire. Rodrigo. All right, so in 2021, they passed the NIL legislation.
Yeah, ruin college sports forever.
And I think it was a $2.8 billion payout to current and former athletes.
Yeah.
Well, now the lawsuits have been rolling in from different players and former players.
Sure.
And you go all the way back to the reason NCAA football quit making games. It was the Northwestern quarterback, Northwestern player, whoever it was, started that lawsuit. And that
said,
really
I didn't give you
rolled the
permission
ball
to
on
have
everything.
me on here, yeah.
So former Kansas basketball players, Mario Chalmers. Let me say that again.
Mario Chalmers
and Sharon Collins are among 16 former men's college basketball players who are suing the NCAA and multiple conferences, claiming they are profiting from the unauthorized use of their names, images, and likenesses in promoting and monetizing March Madness. So you go all the way down to the crux of the issue for Chalmers. Chalmers says, it alleges in the lawsuit, Chalmers hit a three-pointer with 2.1 seconds left to force overtime in the 2008 National Championship game against Memphis. It's a famous shot.
Yeah.
They show it all the time.
Yeah.
The lawsuit says the NCAA and Turner Sports Interactive, which is where they show the game, CBS, True TV, whatever it is, TBS, TNT, another defendant in the lawsuit, have profited from replaying Chalmers' shot without paying him. The Big East, the Pac-12, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the SEC, and the ACC are also defendants in this class action lawsuit filed Monday in the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York. Other athletes involved, I'm going to say all these names. I don't remember any of them except for one or two. But Ryan Boatwright from UConn.
I remember him.
A.J. Bramlett, Eugene Ederson, and Jason Terry from Arizona. I remember Jason Terry.
And Bramlett.
James Cunningham from Arizona State.
Don't remember him.
Matt Presley from Missouri.
I remember him.
And Alex Oriaki from Connecticut and Missouri.
I don't remember him.
So this is the newest of lawsuits.
So now we're going to be upset because I was in a promo.
You're going to have to, and is that, so if you create a song, right? If you were an artist creating a song, and that song plays on the radio or plays on Spotify, you get a cut every time it plays.
Yeah.
In some respects, some kind of cut.
Yeah, you get a royalty.
A royalty. So now, if this lawsuit is won by these 16 guys, that sets a precedent to not only pay players for current playing and broadcasting and video games, but to pay a former player a fee or a royalty every time a highlight is shown.
Guess what? Ain't showing no highlights with you anymore, or anybody anymore. Or
highlights. Period. You're just gonna have to. You're gonna have to do current.
No,
you're gonna have to do current highlights from this season in the NCAA tournament.
The problem that this becomes about broadcast rights laws and who owns those images. Does the player own his images captured on TV? Should the networks countersue those guys saying, without those images, you don't become Mario Chalmers. No one knows who Mario Chalmers is because you can go and you can score 50 points a night a game at Kansas, but if we don't talk about you and we don't show your highlights on ESPN and we don't show your highlights on the NCAA tournament, no one ever knows who you are, dude.
And you don't remember that shot.
Yeah. I mean, don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Well, I guess they're alleging that they're not being fed.
Well,
anymore. They were fed.
Mario Chalmers, true or false? Would you have been the big star that you are, or that you became, had it not been for television, radio, any broadcast medium that said your name over and over and over again?
I also wonder, like in professional contracts, is there verbiage or wording that says the team can use your highlights in perpetuity, or these broadcasters can use your highlights in perpetuity without paying you? Is it a flat rate they're looking for?
It possibly, but you know, but see, that's the reason why when you go to, here's a great example. When I was in arena football and they were doing when the LA Kiss came in that year, they did a big old documentary about them, and the producer walks into the referee's locker room before the game and says, "Hey, we're doing a documentary. There's a chance you might be on TV here. Sign this waiver." And this waiver basically says your image might be on TV. We're not going to pay you for it. And you can't come back to us and say, let us know. But if you don't sign it, we're going to blur your face out.
Right.
And, you know, most of us signed it. One of the dudes didn't sign it. And, you know, every time ball went down that side of his field, you didn't see Glenn Fusick's face. Sorry, Glenn, I didn't mean to throw you out like that.
How'd you like to be the editor who's like, are you serious?
Yes, I got this one guy. How many shots can we find without this dude?
Good grief.
But that's what we had to do, and that's what happens now. They didn't have to do that before. I think there was just an assumption, you know. I mean, and you know, at the time, Mario Chalmers and his pals probably didn't care. They just wanted to be on TV. I bet you when you were on TV in college, you were probably eating up those highlights, right? Probably recorded it, sending it out to all your friends. Nowadays, these kids would be clipping that stuff, putting it on their TikTok, making a TikTok about themselves, or a reel, or whatever we're doing today, or an Instagram post. Getting on the gram.
When I will say the NFL and like PGA are notoriously sticklers. They'll get stuff struck from Twitter. They have a team of people to go and what's probably AI now, but they have algorithms that are searching out highlights that are unauthorized and ripping them off the internet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I guess in that respect, there is a little bit of precedence for Mario Chalmers to say that his name, image, likeness is used. But I will say, does it seem a little light that there are only 16 players?
Well, it's 16 players. Remember, the original thing started with one, Ed O'Bannon. All this NIL started with Ed O'Bannon rolling out and saying, "Hey, I didn't authorize them to put my face on a basketball game." And so this is how it started. But the question goes back, and a judge will decide this. At the time this was happening, was there an expectation of compensation from your name, image, and likeness? And in my book, the answer would be no, because there would not be an expectation back in the 90s when you were doing all these things that you were going to get paid for that.
Yep.
A highlight.
Back after this with This Day in Sports History featuring Chris Snead on Double T 97.3.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Welcome back, Double T 97.3. It is time for This Day in Sports History, Chris.
Hey.
He's got the paper.
Appreciate that. It is Friday, July 5th in the year of our Lord, 2024. Do you know what? We're all going to make it. Mine's still wrong. All right. I hold in my nicotine-stained fingers This Day in Sports. On this day, 1934, Lou Gehrig hits his record 17th career Grand Slam in an 8-3 Yankees win versus the Washington Senators. Wielding up the Washington Senators, first in war, first in peace, last in the American League. He passes Babe Ruth on that hit. 1947, the Cleveland Indians, always the Indians, their rookie Larry Doby becomes the first black player in the American League when he strikes out in the 6-5 loss versus the Chicago White Sox. Pale hose. 1953, Phillies pitcher Robin Roberts hurls his 28th consecutive Major League Baseball complete game in a 2-0 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I don't think everybody caught that. Read that again.
Robin Roberts hurls his 28th consecutive complete game.
28 consecutive complete games.
That is unreal.
28. There won't be 28 this season.
I mean, that's just not wrong.
Yeah, you're impressed when somebody does it now.
I mean, they made a big
Period.
deal. Who was it that had a complete game the other night? And they were like coming out to congratulate the guy that carried him out the field like he threw a no-hitter. And he had a 2-0 shutout, with a complete game. Somebody for the Padres or somebody like that. I don't know. 1975 in Wimbledon, Arthur Ashe becomes the first African-American to win Wimbledon. He beats countryman Jimmy Connors. He takes him 6-1, 6-1, 5-7, and 6-4. And if you know Chuck hates Arthur Ashe because he concealed the fact that he had the AIDS virus when he got through a blood transfusion later in life, and he for that reason he hates him. I thought of all of Chuck's bad takes, that was among the worst bad take of all. Yeah, I know he's here. He'll text me somewhere and say, "Whatever, Chuck, go fall off your roof again." I'm sorry, Chuck. Don't fall off your roof again. That was bad. I know. I'm back to it. Okay. 1987, A's first baseman Mark McGwire becomes the first rookie to hit 30 home runs before the All-Star break, as he beats he helps the Oakland A's beat the Red Sox 6-2. We would soon find out that he was getting the old needle push from Jose Canseco.
Bash Brothers.
Yeah, the Bash Brothers. 1993. Actually, back then in '87, he didn't look like that. He had
a couple years before he was.
Yeah, he was actually wearing the ball out, and then he met Jose, and Jose said, "Hey, let me help you. Let me help you out a little bit." And then he turned into that guy. 1993, A's outfielder Ricky Henderson, Ricky B. Ricky, he leads off both games of Oakland's doubleheader with Cleveland with homers. It's the first time since 1913 that happened.
Wow.
Yeah. 2012. Ooh.
Don't want to go back to 2020.
Former Red Raider pitcher Josh Tomlin gets the win, pitching 7 innings of 2-hit, 1-run baseball and a 3-1 Indians win over the Rays. If he had only done that at Texas Tech.
In 2012, you say?
In 2012. That guy, he came in with as much hype, and he did some things, but that guy was everything that in the bigs that he was supposed to be in college. If he had just been a quarter of what he is in college, that he was in the bigs.
He stuck around quite a while there.
In the bigs. But he was at Tech for a year. And, it's Apple Turnover Day. Where do you fall on the Apple turnover?
I like a good turnover.
I like a good turnover.
I prefer a cherry turnover.
Oh, there was a local fast food joint that had the best apple turnovers. I mean, they have the meats, and they also had the apple turnovers.
The Jamocha shakes.
And the Jamocha shakes. Yeah, and curly fries. I mean, we were not mad at those curly fries. Former Red Raider Zach Reams, 28. Old Reamer. That guy hit some massive postseason home runs for Tech.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, some massive. Born on this day, still with us, Shohei Ohtani. How old do you think he is?
30.
He's 30. That's right. Born on this day, Huey Lewis. If this is it, please tell me so. Sorry. How old do you think he is?
72.
74. Not bad. Born on this day, Goose Gossage. The goose is loose.
70 even.
73. Not bad. Born on this day, Kellen Moore.
Ooh. Kellen Moore, the legend, the Chargers legend.
Yeah.
He's younger than you think.
Oh, yeah.
34.
36. Not bad.
I couldn't remember if he's a year younger or older than me.
Born on this day, Judge Joe Brown. I'm not even going to give it. He's 77. Dead on this day, still dead, Ted Williams, American Baseball Hall of Famer. Last player to hit 400. I think that had we not had the strike or the lockout in 94, Tony Gwynn was threatening that. A couple of people have threatened that. George Brett threatened that. What are you saying to me? 2 times? I can't hear what you're saying. You have to say it.
Time.
Oh, he's telling me how much time I have. Oh, my bad. I'm over there. I thought he was giving me a signal like somebody else said, there's another guy over here, number 230. No.
2 C's.
Yeah,
Cocoa
2 C's.
Crisp.
Cocoa Crisp? Yeah.
I don't think he was ever close.
Never. He's threatening 200. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And
the Mendoza line.
Yeah. On this day in 1946, French designer Louis Royard unveils a daring 2-piece swimsuit at the Piscine Molitor, a popular swimming hole in Paris. Parisian showgirl Micheline Bernardini modeled this new fashion, which Royard dubbed as the bikini, inspired a news-making U.S. atomic test that took, inspired by a news-making U.S. atomic test that took place off the Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean earlier that week. And that, my friends, is this day in sports history.
So the bikini was named after an atomic test.
The islands where it was tested.
Named after the islands, yes.
Yeah. My dad, when he was in Vietnam, one of his bases was referred to as Bikini Beach.
Same bikini, different island, different beach.
Well, yeah, those were. I would assume that's a little further away in Vietnam.
Well, I mean, it's closer to Vietnam than it is to us.
I hope so.
Yeah, but the bikini beach is much more of the bikini beach that you would see in Miami or Padre or something along those lines.
No, it wasn't. It was an air base.
The beach?
It wasn't a beach. It wasn't a beach. I'll show you a picture. Now the picture I'm going to show you is that's what my dad wearing some swim trunks. I guess near a beach.
Yeah, the beach down the road from the airbase.
So yeah.
That signals the end of hour 1. We'll get into hour 2 when we return.
How did we ever do it?
We'll talk more.
We gonna talk any sports? It's July 5th.
We'll talk more patriotic athletes, best American athletes. We'll talk patriotic movies.
Hashtag America.
I've got some Texas Tech football over-unders stats I want you to give me over-unders on.
Okay, I can
do that in the next hour as well.
I can do that. I can actually do that.
More after this on the Morning Drive, Double T 97.3.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
We're talking patriotic songs. Maybe Miss Elliott comes up. We're talking patriotic movies, though.
What?
I was just trying to move on. Let me move on.
I mean, I could probably get to Missy Elliott patriotic song by her song Magic Stick being used as a walk-up song for a baseball player playing on the 4th of July game, maybe before a fireworks show. That's as close as I could get to Missy Elliott being a patriotic singer.
We did it. See, it took, 2 seconds
it's like
to get there.
Kevin Bacon game.
Love that game. I'm awful at it. I get actors mixed up.
I had a great friend that just passed away. That was that guy could do it with anybody. Anybody, you give him a guide, he could get to Kevin Bacon in 6 people. It was unbelievable.
I can do it in like 12 or 13 generally. It's just the shorter times.
I thought the Kevin Bacon, you had to get to Kevin Bacon. He's
6 degrees of. Yeah, that's how the rules go.
Yeah, but I mean this
and
guy.
And then it's like you name 2 different actors and you connect those 2 actors.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can connect anybody to Kevin Bacon.
Here we go.
Keep in mind, once you get to Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks or there's another one I'm thinking of, that you're just then at that 1.1 away.
Yeah.
So if you can get to those guys, because he's done movies with both of them.
Yeah. Sean Connery too.
Yeah. I mean, you're when you get that first layer that includes so many different spider webs of their own. Mm-hmm. And what's really fun is when you go Kevin Bacon to Kevin Bacon in 6 moves exactly.
Get him back to himself?
Wow. And you can do it by, consecutively. Like Kevin Bacon worked with this person on Footloose, who worked with this person on through the time frame, and then get to a current Kevin Bacon movie.
Oh.
Is he still working?
Yeah.
Sure he is.
I'm reading a text line here. I'm going to take issue with you on what you just said here a second ago.
Me?
To this texter. You said what you drive is up to you, but driving it on their roads is another story. To drive on their roads, you have to follow their rules. Wait a second. I'm a citizen of this state. I'm a taxpayer in this state and this county. Wouldn't that make it my roads?
No. It's the state roads.
I'm a citizen of this state.
You are a citizen of the state, but they are the state. They are the state roads.
I'm aware, but
which is why you don't pay individually.
Who is the state? Okay, we're not going to go into this. All right. Meanwhile,
speaking of patriotic,
you and me are going to have a philosophical discussion after this show is over. After I get my haircut and after I record rules of the game.
You're going on a We the People rant here.
Who would we? All right, that's great during this holiday season. What's up?
Patriotic movies.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. You
want to give me your top list? We're going to go bar for bar. Give me your list, and I'll see which ones we have in common.
Okay. My patriotic movies. This is not in any particular order.
Yeah, just the top 10.
I've got 12 here.
Just the top, but it's not ranked.
This is not ranked. This is not in any order.
Okay.
But my first one is in order. This is my number one, Glory.
It's on my list.
Yeah. Forrest Gump.
On my list.
Courage Under Fire.
Ooh. I don't think I've seen that one.
Denzel Washington.
Okay.
Yeah. Great movie. Forgot what the female actress. She's not the lead in that. Well, she's a lead, but she's.
Is it Meg Ryan or Helen Hunt?
Is it Meg Ryan? I think it might be. I just looked it up. Tuskegee Airmen. And you can put Tuskegee Airmen / Red Tails. Same movie told from a different point of view. This is where I know this is where we're going to go generational. I'm going to get away from you. The Right Stuff.
I nearly put that's the Ed Harris.
Ed Harris. It's a movie about about the
NASA and getting it all together.
That is getting Band of Brothers. TV show.
It's close.
That's a movie.
It's a
long
miniseries.
Okay, we're gonna
a movie.
Okay, fine. Take it off the list. I got 11 then. Fine. Red Dawn, the original.
Red Dawn. Not the Mark Schlereth remake.
It's kids defending America from the Ruskies.
Okay.
I mean,
I can dig it.
Yeah.
Not on my list, but I can dig it.
Apollo 13.
I can dig it. Not on my list. Tom Hanks.
This was the one that was kind of funny, but I had to put it on here. Air Force One.
Harrison Ford.
Best line of "Get off my plane." Miracle.
On my list.
Yeah, Miracle. Pearl Harbor.
Great movie.
Okay, the concept of Pearl Harbor was a great idea. The execution of Pearl Harbor, it's a terrible movie.
It is kind of a terrible movie. It's about, I mean, you have this giant love story in the middle of this tragedy.
It is a war movie desperately trying to get out of a romantic comedy.
It's not like a romantic. It's a love story based around a tragic American, but it's a very American story.
I think I was thinking.
Didn't say it was an American story.
Yeah.
It said it's a bad movie.
Rocky IV.
Okay. There you go.
And I
Apollo Creed, the America versus Russia. Yeah, I can dig that.
I must break you.
If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies. I've got some honorable mentions. The American President, and what's the one that where the guy goes in there and impersonates the president?
Dave.
I kept saying Ted. Ted is a teddy bear movie. Dave, yeah.
All right, so we had 3 crossover.
Okay.
Forrest Gump, Glory, and Miracle. So I'll give you the rest of mine.
Okay.
Armageddon.
I forgot Armageddon. Yeah, I'd have that on my list. That's got to be on my list.
Forrest Gump, you said Independence Day, Will Smith. Will
I
not
think
go
that was
quietly into this
tried a
dark
little
night.
too hard. But I mean, I thought about Independence Day, but it just tried a little too hard.
The Patriot, aim small, miss small.
Yeah, that's a
Lone Survivor.
I thought about that as well.
Throwing it way back to Jimmy Smith. Is that his name? Jimmy.
You talking about Mr. Smith goes
Jimmy
to Washington?
Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart. There
Mr.
you
Smith
go.
goes to
Mr.
Washington.
Smith goes to
Mr.
Washington.
Smith goes to Washington.
Yeah.
National Treasure.
Not a patriotic movie.
It's what?
Historically fun movie.
Yeah.
Not a patriotic movie.
It's and a lot of untruths in that movie. A lot of untruths. And
Top Gun. And then
They're committing war crimes technically, but yeah.
And then my honorable mention.
I love it. Doesn't mean it's a bad movie, but it's a war crime.
My honorable mention is Team America.
Team America?
Yeah, the South Park guys, Team America.
Gosh. Okay.
Patriotic.
Yeah, that's okay. Which Top Gun, first or second one?
The first one's on my list. After this, Double T 97.3.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Have your opinion heard now on the Yates Flooring Center chat line at doublet973.com or the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Right now, we've got the question of the day up in 15 minutes, the boom, boom, boom. In 30 minutes, we'll do some over-unders, potentially.
Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3, presented today by someone not named Jamie, is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, I need you to pull up the Big 12 preseason poll. We've haven't talked about a lot of Texas Tech football today or Big 12 football at this point. We'll get to it, but to kind of start this conversation, I want you to look at the top 5 teams and the bottom 5 teams. Of the top 5, who is the most likely to end up in the bottom 5? In the bottom 5, who was most likely to end up in the top 5?
I gotta find it here without a video. So, okay.
All right, the top 5, Utah, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Kansas, Arizona. The bottom 5, from the bottom, Arizona State, Houston, Cincinnati, BYU, Baylor.
So you're asking
Now,
who's most likely in the top 5 to end up in the bottom 5, and who's most likely to end up in the top 5 from the bottom 5?
Correct.
Okay.
That doesn't mean we think they will,
Right.
but we're talking most likely to.
Okay.
Is Ollie Gordon going to get the Johnny Manziel 2-drive suspension for his DUI, or is he going to miss a couple of games?
I don't even think he gets the 2-drive suspension.
Let's see.
I think he's going to miss a series.
All right, so of the top 5 to move down, Kansas. I think that defense is suspect. I think they have a good to great secondary. But their linebackers and defensive line just don't have the juice, I think, to compete competitively for a full season defensively. That offense, Jalen Daniels had 17 back spasms last year, was trying to transfer all year, and then mysteriously came back for a season. So is he going to play the full year? Who knows? I'll go Kansas to move down. I think the moving up is a much tougher question.
It really is, because there's a lot of suck down there at the bottom.
Who would you say moves down? Would you go
Kansas, without question. Without question. I would probably look at Kansas as, if the question was asked, which team would you most likely trade places with in the top 10 from Kansas down? Who would be most likely to trade places? I would think probably the answer would be probably UCF and Kansas.
UCF and Kansas. Arizona, new coach, but they still have all that talent. They have one of the best offensive linemen, one of the best quarterbacks, the best wide receiver probably.
Yeah, I don't think that's a team that's going to fall very far if they don't achieve what they're projected to. But right. I tell you what, the biggest surprise of the top 5 for me, without question, was Kansas.
All right, so moving up, it's between Houston and Cincinnati. Of the 5, Baylor I think will be bad. BYU I don't trust at all.
Yeah.
Arizona State I think will be bad.
I think Houston's going to be bad.
Well, is Willie Fritz good enough to make some noise? I don't think so.
I mean, is he going to turn that
Now,
you can only do so much with a roster.
Cincinnati has a top 5 returning running back.
Yeah.
They have a top 3, maybe offensive line. Defensively, if Dante Corleone can play, I think that changes the dynamic of their defensive line.
Yeah.
I would take Cincinnati. I don't trust Scott Satterfield at all. I don't like him.
Yeah.
I think he's boring. But I think to move up, I would pick Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's hard to believe this is a team that we're less than 4 years outside of these guys being in a New Year's Six.
Yeah. I mean, if Luke Fickell was around, they wouldn't be ranked 14th.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. But Luke Fickell's not around anymore, and
he's not.
Satterfield is, and I got to go with you on Cincinnati is probably the most likely to move up, to be up out of the bottom 5. But I mean, out of the bottom 5 could just mean 11th. So, but you know what? I think they have a chance to finish in the 11th or 10th spot. But the funny thing about it is, I think that Kansas will fall farther than Cincinnati will move up.
Well, that wasn't the question.
Well, that's
and
the
again,
answer I just gave you.
We're not saying that any of these are going to necessarily happen. I am with you guys where I think Kansas is the one that falls out of the top 5 for the most likely. Arizona's got too much talent. I think Utah, Kansas State, and Oklahoma State are the top 3 teams before we get to the gooey middle of what the Big 12 conference schedule is. For the bottom 5 teams moving up, I know they're not as good as they were last year, but I'm still looking at BYU with half of their games at altitude, and and almost everybody that goes in there is looking at playing at altitude when they're not used to it, and they can steal a bunch of home games that way. So if I'm picking somebody to get out of the top 5 into the top 5, you start that by defending your home field, and BYU, I feel like, with that advantage, can steal some games that we aren't thinking that they would normally steal on a neutral field. I'm with you. I don't think Baylor's any good. I don't think Cincinnati can jump up into the top 5. I think they're probably better than 14, but I don't think they're better than 5. And I'm not buying Houston or Arizona State. Whoever wins. I don't even know if they play each other this year. If they do, the winner of that game is the 15th team in the conference.
So West Virginia was picked last year.
Correct.
And I think they jumped up to 5, maybe fourth or fifth.
Something like
they
that.
were in the mix for the Big 12 championship in the last couple of weeks.
I'm going to give you a little bit of when you started talking about that whole thing about their playing at home, playing at altitude, I was thinking that's the biggest load of malarkey ever. Until I looked at their record, and they went 4-2 at home, and they only won 5 games. So
they have a really good home field advantage. Not
that
just
altitude. That altitude's
right, as Texas Tech knows twice last year.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I think their fan base, the size of the stadium is the biggest in the Big 12. I think currently at 60,000.
Yeah, they're 63,000.
63.
Yeah,
because even with the
Tech is now the second largest stadium in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Even with the we were at 63, and they haven't given us a new.
It's under 60. That's the
is
number.
It just 59,000?
It's 59,000. So it's somewhere between 58 and 59 is what the report that we got was.
Yeah.
The official number hasn't been released yet, but it's under 60. We lost seats.
Oh yeah, we knew we lost seats. We knew we were going to lose about 3,000 when we did that because you just take it out, fix seats for low seating and suite seating,
and expensive seating.
Well, it costs more and it seats less.
Yes.
Looks good though.
Sure does. It's going to look.
Didn't say it didn't look good.
Yeah.
Nowhere did we put looks into the conversation.
It's going to be interesting because that bottom level is going to be all glass, so those field level suites are. So think about what's been down there: the Masked Rider, Cheer and Palm, things like that. The Saddle Tramp Bell. It's not going to be there anymore. It's going to be somewhere else.
Move the bell to the north end zone?
I don't know.
That's where the opposing guys are.
No. We'll find out.
Opposing fans.
We will find out. We will all hide and watch. We will get told when we're told.
Well, we're not going to hide. We'll just watch.
Okay.
Because we're not hiding in the stands. That would be weird.
No. Well, we'll find out.
You would definitely get arrested for that.
I will say one more feather in BYU's cap, potentially. The last time Jerry Bohannon was going against Big 12 defenses, they won a Big 12 championship. Baylor. He did not finish that season, but nearly the whole season. He led them to the promised land, and then who played after Jerry Bland? I don't remember his name. Somebody else won. Beat Donovan Smith after Jonathan Garibay missed his first field goal of the season in the rain. Should have been in overtime. Up next, the boom, boom, boom. Some Big 12 over-unders potentially as well. 8:15, we'll do Who Wore It Better. All coming up on the Morning Drive, Double T 97.3.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Welcome back. It's 8:15 in the Morning Drive. About 45 minutes left with you before we yield the studio to Jeff Haxton and David Collier. Rob Breaux, Chris Snead in for Chuck and Jamie. Jeff McGuire behind the glass. It is Friday, July 5th, 6:30 tonight on Double T 97.3, the Rangers and the Rays. The Rangers trying to turn it around before the All-Star break. Every win, every loss, you're trying to think, all right, are they sellers yet? Are you going to stand pat? Are you selling for 25? You're going to start selling for 26? Those are all questions that Chris Young is asking himself. 6:40 on 100.7 The Score. The Astros will start a series with the Twins in the Twin Cities.
The question becomes, what is ownership going to do? What is ownership going to allow the Rangers to do? And this has become the issue. They were all in 23.
Yeah.
And Ray Davis has been pretty adamant about the lack of desire to spend money, just ridiculous money, and probably because of the fact that the Bally Sports deal is gone kaput. There's an unknown in terms.
How do you screw up live sports?
I mean,
can somebody answer that? I just need one person.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that.
When everybody's begging to get into live sports,
there's uncertainty in that arena for the Rangers right now.
Major League Baseball is so dumb.
Yeah, and Major League Baseball and its blackout rules, and for whatever reason, Bally Sports and MLB think that I live down the street from Globe Life Field because I purchased the MLB package and can't use it because it's blacked out because I should be able to go to a Rangers game. So I don't understand that ridiculousness.
Just a quick 5-hour drive.
Yeah,
should be done.
Or I could just do like Bullfighter and just find my way there every week, which is fine.
City goes to about 15 games.
Yeah, so there you go. And
but there's 162 you're trying to watch on TV, or
exactly. Yesterday would have been a great day for me to turn on the TV and watch a little baseball. I love listening to radio and listening to baseball, and you can do that here at 97.3. But yesterday would have been a great day to just have baseball on in the background, and I can do that. So, but I ended up watching Yellowstone.
Close.
Not really.
Jeff, you've been running the Who Wore It Better series. We've been running the Who Wore It Better series.
Yes, I agree. You have been.
Collective.
So who do we collectively here at Double T 97.3 have as the number?
And 100.7
the next number. And 100.7 the score.
It's a we. The station.
Not the video game console.
No, that's WII.
I know. Sorry.
We are asking the question, who wore it better? And we're talking about jersey numbers. It's the famous professional athlete when you see number 23, we all think of Michael Jordan. When you think 99, it's Wayne Gretzky. So we're asking those questions about Texas Tech numbers. We just wrapped up number 22 yesterday. By no surprise, Cheryl Swoops won with like 79% of the vote.
Shocked.
Surprised that it was that low of the 79. Not to say that there weren't other worthy
candidates.
Who was second? Why do you gotta ask me an educated question like that when I wasn't prepared? Second on that list was, get past all the things choice.
Was it Gerald Myers?
Danny, no, not Danny Mendel. Where did
Jay Samaro.
Jason Morrow finished second.
Jason Morrow at 12.2%.
Wow. Anthony Lynn third. Gerald Myers fourth.
Wow.
I've done all kinds of best tech athlete polls over the years. Cheryl Swoops is a juggernaut.
Yeah, without question. I mean, she was doing the Caitlin Clark thing before Caitlin Clark was even alive.
So today, we start with number 24.
Okay.
From Texas Tech history. Who wore it better?
Tell me the names.
Eric Stevens.
Pretty good.
Nathan Carnes. Ronald Ross.
Pretty good.
Tony Batiste.
Pretty good.
Get your votes in now on Twitter or X, depending on if you've made the change or not.
This is going to be an eras question here because, the Ronald Ross, obviously the Bob Knott era, Tony Batiste, the James Dickey era, Eric Stevens. That's probably underrated running back in that era of the air raid.
Yes.
Very underrated running back. Comes off of an injury, and was probably better after the injury than he was before.
Is Eric Stevens the guy that got hurt near the goal line against Texas A&M?
I thought it was Missouri.
Missouri?
Was it Missouri? A&M.
Whoever
I thought
it was.
Ricky was Missouri.
No, Ricky Williams was at Arizona State.
No, it is Arizona. That's right.
That's because Jonathan Gray threw the biggest lookout block in the world, and your entire season went down the drain. Yeah, I said it.
I think this is a two-horse battle between Tony Batiste and Ronald Ross.
I do too, and it becomes what era? I mean, you're talking about a guy that came to Tech as a 6'9" swingman, and then next thing you know, he's 7 foot, and got into the NBA, had a long NBA career. Ronald Ross, great distributor and some clutch shots for Tech during the Bob Knight era. And
Sweet 16.
Sweet 16 team, or of course you got Pitt Snoggle like the rest of us. But yeah, I would say I'm probably leaning a little bit more towards Batiste, just because of what he became during that era, and he was an integral part of that 30-2 team. We all remember the ham slam, but the guy going up against Jahidi White from Georgetown that day was Tony Batiste. Held his own a little bit. Jahidi White.
Is Ronald Ross back at Hobbs coaching?
I don't know the answer to that.
I think he might have just got that job this offseason. Hobbs America.
Hobbs, I drove past Hobbs last week.
Sorry?
Watson Memorial Stadium right there off 62, 82. On the road to Carlsbad.
I'm on the Ronald Ross Wikipedia page.
I am as well, looking to see if I can find that information quickly.
He won 3 consecutive state championships, 99, 2000, 2001.
Not bad.
His career history post-Texas Tech is a lesson in phonetics. Castelletto.
Say it with confidence.
Ticino.
Say it with confidence.
The Butte Daredevils.
The Butte Daredevils?
Butte.
Butte? Oh, Butte.
Daredevils. Like Crested Butte.
Oh.
The Albany Patroons. Riesen Ludwigsburg. Artland Dragons. Maccabi Givat Shmuel. Maccabi Haifa. I'm just halfway through.
Wow.
Lots of syllables there.
Put the right emphasis on them.
Yeah. All right, Tony Batiste, Ronald Ross, Eric Stevens, Nathan Carnes. Will Nathan Carnes get a vote?
No.
Seattle Mariners legend Nathan Carnes.
Don't get me started. Do not get me started. You're trying to poke. You're trying to poke.
Who is?
You are trying to poke.
I'm not.
You are trying.
I'm not a poker.
Poke. No, Nathan Carnes. Give me a break. I'm not going to vote for him. He said, "Don't vote for him." I'm not going to vote for him. So he didn't do anything for Texas Tech when he was here. Why didn't we have Jose Delgado on the team? That guy was good. That was an all-conference player here. And we got Nathan Carnes, who didn't do squat for Tech. He was good at NC State. He was good in the bigs. He was terrible here. Why is he on the list?
I feel like Tech baseball has the most guys who are well-known post-career that didn't do much. Like Dallas Braden.
Dallas Braden was really good here.
Maybe only for 1 year.
Yeah, he was a 1-year dude.
Yeah. Up next, we'll have some Texas Tech football over-unders for the boys on Double T 97.3.
Let's go. Let's go.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.